Hello, everybody. Welcome to the WZWA Network here live, baby, on Twitch for our AEW All Out Review Show. I'm your host, here with the most on the West Coast, California in Fury. The Four Horsemen are dead. All right, we've sent them to the glue factory. This is the All Out pay-per-view review show. And I have two esteemed co-hosts here with me here tonight. First of all, Mr. 55 Live, baby. Jack Wallace, how are you, bro?
I'm well. It's been a while since we've done one of these live reviews on Twitch, but I'm excited to do so. This is going to be a lot of fun. All Out was fucking amazing. And let's fucking get to it, man. Let's get to it.
Yeah, bro. It's been a while. And, of course, the one and only Joosey Boy Daniel Johnston. What's up, DJ?
Yeah, not a lot, fellas. Quite the show. Eager to get into it and chop it up.
Yep, sick, bro. All right. Look, okay, everyone out there on Twitch, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Hannah, hello, Hannah. Always love to have you here with us. I forced the guys to watch the match on the buy-in, and there was an audible groan from both of you. It's the Hardy family office taking on the Best Friends and the Jurassic Express in a, I don't know, how many was it? Was it five? Was it a 10-man tag? Must have been a 10-man tag.
It was
Eight man.
Whatever it was. Was it 8-man? Okay.
I think so.
Well, we're coming out hot right here, guys, because we were hot with this. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Pay-per-view. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in a jiffy. But I'm gonna let Jack take this away right here, right now. Hardy family office, Best Friends, Jurassic Express. This matchup on the buy-in. Give us your thoughts.
Look, just going into this, obviously, as you just pointed out there, we were not red hot on doing this match. We really, it was the one match on this card that I was happy to see get relegated to the buy-in. I was like, okay, I don't care for Chuck Taylor. I don't care for the Best Friends. I don't care for Jack Evans. I barely care for Private Party. I only care for Private Party because of Matt Hardy. And look, the whole thing was the Matt Hardy show as far as all of us were concerned. But the match
That's why we did it.
The match itself was like a big spot fest. It was all everything that, in my opinion, is what's wrong with AEW. That's nothing against all the. I mean, it is kind of a knock on all the guys in the match, but with sort of everything that we have been seeing from AEW over the last few weeks, and them sort of hitting this new stride, it was kind of going into the match, I kind of expected it to be like this, and I'm kind of glad that we got it all out of the way in the buy-in, because of course the rest of the show we saw not much of this sort of shit. There were some cool spots, some cool ideas, but I mean, hey man, it was the buy-in. I didn't really care, and I didn't care for many people in the match, but hey man, I love Matt Hardy, so we had time for the match.
Yeah, that's it, bro. And this is the only reason why I wanted to do this was because look, we gotta cover the Matt Hardy thing because it's Matt Hardy. DJ, before I throw it to you, I'm just gonna go through my notes here. That the spot in the match where they were doing all the holds, and then someone else came in and grabbed an ankle, and someone else came in and grabbed a headlock. Just the stupidity of spots like this is what kept me away from AEW for so long. I don't like stuff like this, and I wrote down stupidity is ruining the match. There was a piggyback war. It's just stuff like this. It's just the story of the match wasn't told properly. This is a feud between the Hardy family office and Orange Cassidy, who happened to have some friends backing him up. This should have been about those two. This should have been about maybe getting some heat on Matt, as opposed to making this end up, for whatever reason, being about Jungle Boy getting the pinfall. So I wasn't really impressed with the whole premise of the match. Should have been about what the feud was, not something that had no connection whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure there's been Jurassic Express and HFO stuff in the past, so I'm sorry if anyone wants to bring that up. I feel like Matt should have won the match, but I was happy to see the Butcher show up afterward and lay waste. So, DJ, any thoughts, bro?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the bits, Hannah. And so I didn't really care for this match. I kind of agree with you that I enjoyed seeing the Butcher come back. It was nice to see him. Look, I feel like Matt Hardy is doing what he can with what he's been given to work with, but they need like somebody else with Matt's level of experience in there as well, because he can't hold this whole thing together on his own. This match was clunky. It was all over the place. It was a little sloppy. And I really think that this could have benefited from just being a 6-man or even a standard tag team match. And I'd probably give this a D-.
Fair enough.
Excellent, bro. Let's get the fuck away from the buy-in. All Out. The pay-per-view begins, guys. JR is pumped. It's great hearing JR actually at a point in his career now. His voice doesn't yell as much anymore. But I've noticed in the last few weeks he seems to really have been able to capture that spirit he once had. So props to JR. Loving that there's signs in the crowd. Loving that there's people with fucking, cups of beer. This is what we want to see. We're going to begin things with the first matchup of All Out. It's the TNT Championship match. It's Miro, God's favorite wrestler, and of course, the one and only Eddie Kingston. DJ, I'm going to let you take this one away.
Yeah, so this was one of the matches on the card that I was most excited about seeing, other than obviously the CM Punk match and the main event. And you know what? It actually exceeded my expectations and my hopes. I was hoping for like a real physical contest. I knew it was going to be a fight, but I really expected it to be more of a brawl. But what we got was really like a hard-hitting wrestling match. I mean, there was a use of submissions in here. There was a lot of great, holds and counters in this thing. It really felt like, this is it's a brawl. It's ugly, but it's also between two guys that know what they're doing in the ring. And, this really, felt as though it's got another gear that it can get to, but it felt like they're saving that for a rematch. It's definite that it definitely feels like this was part one of what seems like it's going to be an ongoing program. And I think that as the initial taste, I mean, like everything that happened in this match, you sort of felt it. It felt visceral. Felt like, these guys are really punching on, and that they're going to feel this match in the morning. And that's what you want from two guys like this. I thought both guys looked great. I thought that, I thought Eddie Kingston looked great in defeat. And yeah, I would like already off the bat, I would give this match a B+. Like I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. We'll throw it over to Mr. 55 right now.
I love this match from top to bottom. Sort of like going into this, I already knew this was going to be a hard-hitting physical match, and I think we got everything we were sort of expecting plus more. It did feel like at some points that we thought this was going to turn into a street fight. We were hoping that the referee was going to sort of stop the match halfway through and say, all right, stop this. This needs to be a no disqualification match, and throw the rule book out the window. I was really hoping the referee was going to do that, but it was not going to happen tonight. Eddie Kingston's fucking awesome. I loved his little sort of tribute to CZW tonight, wearing the CZW colors and then the CZW chant. So that's the yellow and black for those that don't know. Eddie Kingston, man, like on several occasions tonight, came so close to winning that TNT title, and I think he should be next in line to win it. He's the only person I believe that could beat Miro, especially after the show. It sort of proves that they're almost on the same level. I think Miro still, at the end of the day would have Eddie Kingston's number, but I believe Eddie Kingston could beat Miro, and I think if there needs to be a rematch, probably at Full Gear, and it needs to be like a hardcore match or a lights out match or something, and Eddie Kingston needs to take the TNT title away if they're going to do that. But I'd like to see Miro hold the title for much longer. A beautiful finish, told a great story. The ref completely fucked Eddie over. Eddie's going to be pissed on Dynamite this week. We already know he's going to be coming out kicking and screaming. He's going to want to fight Miro. He's going to want to fucking punch on with the refs probably. I don't know. But it's not over. It's not over between Miro and Eddie Kingston. Great match.
Yep, and I'll run through my notes. First thing I wrote down was I'm down with Eddie Kingston. I am down. And I want vignettes with Kingston on the streets of where he grew up. Casual fans are going to be starting to tune in for Punk, and some other people we'll be talking about later. You want these people to really, at this point with your TV shows, Dynamite and Rampage, you want to utilize them to realize you need to introduce these characters to this audience and have them come up to speed on what they're all about. The crowd were fucking hot for this matchup. And that's something that Chicago's been known for many years, not just when it's a Punk match on the card, but it's always been known for being like that. One quote, we were all watching this together at the same time. DJ, this was a fantastic quote, very astute, I might add. You said, see how much better matches are when they look like fights. I dig that, and I wrote that down for that reason. I was on the edge of my seat. I found myself on the edge of my seat, not knowing who was going to win. There was no foregone conclusion with this one. It wasn't like Lance Archer and Miro at Double or Nothing. We didn't know who was going to walk away the champion in this one, as far as I was concerned. Again, we're going to talk about suicide dives that you see on this show. There was a suicide dive that Eddie hit on Miro that made sense. He had just spilled him to the outside just as Miro turns around. Out he comes. So it's stuff like that I like. And that's you compare this to that fucking multi-man on the buy-in. Sorry, this is like lightning years ahead of that. Miro, again, a pro with the facial expressions, always finding the camera when it's the right time with the facial expressions. Great false finish with the DDT spot and the referee fiddling around with the turnbuckle. And, of course, the finish came not too long after that. Good finish. And final comment, what an opening match. This is how you open a pay-per-view as far as I'm concerned. And I think Miro can be in this spot for the next few pay-per-views if he continues to hold that belt. But I would definitely, as you guys have mentioned, I'd definitely like to see this, the ante be upped between these two. I want to see a stipulated match going into maybe Full Gear or something like that. And along the way, along that journey there, we continue this feud, make it interesting, come up with peaks and valleys for the story, and have people learn about Eddie Kingston along the way. Okay, that one's done. We're going to the second match on the show, which we were kind of surprised was going to be the second match on the show because we already had a hard-hitting contest. But now we go into a Japanese kind of strong style matchup with the legendary Satoshi Kojima taking on Jon Moxley. So I'm going to let Mr. 55 take this one away. Wasn't sure how you're going to respond to this one, Jack, going into it. I kind of know your feelings, but please, for everyone out there, let's hear it.
Well, believe it or not, I did not know who Satoshi Kojima was walking into this match. So this is my introduction to him, and I was, it was okay. But I just could never get into this match at all. Jon Moxley, first of all, should have been wearing his GCW World Title. That was already annoying from the get-go. Just if AEW are going to let people wear belts from other promotions, example Lance Archer with the IWGP US title, etc., etc. Why is I'm sure there's something to it. I'm sure it doesn't even matter. I'm sure it probably didn't even cross John's mind, but it just would have been cool to see it after the title victory yesterday because it was a pretty big moment. The match itself, I couldn't get invested into it. I guess strong style's not exactly my thing. It still looked like a real fight, like the Eddie Kingston match. But again, we just had Eddie Kingston and Miro pretty much knock each other's heads off. We sort of maybe could have had Jon Moxley and Satoshi wrestle later on in the night when we could have had a bit of a break from the hard-hitting stuff. The little surprise after the match with Minoru Suzuki coming out was awesome. Again, we were hoping it was going to be Nick Gage. But of course, it appears to AEW have something else in their mind with this Forbidden Door. And Suzuki's pile driver is spicy.
Very nice. Before I throw it to you, DJ, I'll chime in here. I follow your sentiments there, Jack. There's no reason why he couldn't have had that GCW title with him. You want to talk about the Forbidden Door and all that shit. What they did with Impact Wrestling and all that angle did nothing to help that company. So to have the GCW championship on display and to talk about that during his entrance would only benefit GCW. Let's help everyone else out, because when the whole industry is doing good, then it's good for everyone across the board, right? So I just think that would have been an important thing for Game Changer Wrestling. They're kind of almost like the new ECW at this point. So that would have been important. I liked the good back and forth between the two of them. And a note that I had was, this is a taste of everything, okay? So you do have your Paul Wight match on this pay-per-view. You do have your Young Bucks type match on this pay-per-view. You do have a Japanese style match on this pay-per-view. So I think that's good to have those flavors. And even if it's not to some people's taste, like Jack, this is welcome for like a global scale. So maybe New Japan, Japanese wrestling fans might be like, okay, well, I'll check this out because Kojima's going to be on the show. And then maybe they'll follow it. And then maybe AEW will be bigger in Japan, where at some point maybe they could do shows over there when this whole COVID bullshit's over. So it's good. The finish was good. I wrote down Gage better come out, but when Minoru Suzuki came out, I wrote, okay, that's okay. All right, I'll let that slide. That's cool. I love the back and forth between the two of them. And Excalibur, bro, enough with the fucking forbidden door bullshit, okay? The door's already open. Shut up. It's not forbidden anymore. It's not the first time a wrestling company has had a working relationship with other companies where they've brought other people in. It happened in 1995 in WCW, probably even earlier than that, 93. They had a Starcade that was headlined by two Japanese guys. So
WWE's been working with Japan since the 70s, man.
Yeah, bro. It's not forbidden, okay? Like, I know you love the little tag or whatever, but just enough, okay? Because it's starting to get on my fucking dick, all right? And
absolutely,
I love that Suzuki laid him the fuck out at the end of it. That's what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see Moxley get one over on him. Bit of heat leading into their match coming up on Dynamite, which I was surprised by. But DJ, your turn. Take it away, bro.
Look, I almost find myself, regretting that I have to give this match a mere C-. I was really hoping for, not that I was hoping for a lot more from a physical in-ring point of view, but I was really hoping for something that would get, whipped up into more of a frenzy. And I wanted the vibe to be more Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka than fucking Okada versus frickin' whoever. This was very much a Japanese style match. It had a lot of flurries of action followed by periods of not much action. So they really followed that style, which there's nothing wrong with that. But same as you guys, I think that this really needed a buffer match or a couple of matches in between, because we saw a really good physical kind of hard-hitting match in the opener. And I don't think that match actually had quite a bit of heat on it. And this match, obviously conversely, hasn't got very much heat at all. So that kind of probably made it look even worse by comparison. I thought Kojima looked great for his age, and I thought Minoru Suzuki looked good. I'm excited to see that match, but I think that this left a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, no, I understand, bro. I think, God, Yuji Nagata, when they had him come in, he's of age now. Okay, it's nice that these kind of older Japanese guys are getting that like final moment in the sun for like a US audience. So I think for Kojima, you guys, I mean, I don't know what your knowledge is on him, DJ. I know Jackie said you didn't know anything about him, but he was one of the MLW heavyweight champions back in 2003 or whatever. So he has been, he's been in Ring of Honor back in those days as well. So I think it's nice, at least for someone like that, to be given the spotlight one last time. And he does the job. He does it, he does the right thing. He puts over the younger talent. So that's cool. And yeah, it was all right. It didn't offend me, but it didn't wow me either. Moving forward, guys, we get our second championship match on the show. We have, of course, our favorite right there.
Second
Dr.
favorite.
Britt Baker. Let's do it, guys.
D.
M.
D.
All right.
So
that's so marky of us to do that.
That was so marky.
I feel sick to my stomach, but you know what? It's Britt Baker, so it's okay. Terrible. We would crucify people on other shows for doing that. I'm going to take this one away, guys. Look, Britt Baker can do no wrong by me right now. As far as I'm concerned, she's the number one female in the industry right now because she's not only amazing at the promos, She's got the facial expressions. She's always in character, no matter what's going on. You know, their matches have a ton of spots I'm sure that they're trying to remember, but at the same time, she's remembering to keep in character the whole time. So I dig it. I fucking dig it. Love this matchup. Really did. I love the hype package where they have all the broadcast journalists in AEW, all 19 of them, talking about this match. I think it's good. It makes them look like legit broadcast journalists. I'm starting to like Kris Statlander now because the last couple of matches I've seen of hers, I'm like, okay, starting to learn a little bit more about what she can do. So I thought she was a good opponent here. And she hides her thigh slaps way better than the Lucha Brothers. I wrote suck shit on the pendulum moonsault. The destroyer from Britt Baker was unbelievable. And to follow it up, with a curb stomp, goes for the pin. And this is what I loved about this finish so much. Statlander just got the shoulder up, but the way that she rolled her shoulder over, it just ended up being in the perfect position for that lockjaw. Britt Baker, our home girl, gets the win. Fuck yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. DJ, take it away.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite matches on the show. I thought that it had a really good energy to it. Like Kris Statlander, you could really tell that she was focused and she was on fire. Like everything that she did it well. She did it with confidence, There was a confidence in Kris Statlander that we haven't really seen before this point. And, I felt like a lot of that confidence and fire really showed from her in her performance against Britt Baker here. Britt Baker was fantastic as always. I thought that this was tremendous in terms of actually, again, another match that really looked like a chess match. And this one wasn't so much a brawl, but more of a catch as catch can sort of wrestling match, which, every step of the way, each lady is trying to sort of like outwit the other and come up with the next big thing that's going to get them an opportunity to put this away. And, it was very cat and mouse, especially at the end. But eventually, Kris Statlander put up much more of a fight than I thought that she would. She looked much more of a threat than I thought she would in this match. So kudos to both of them. A- for the ladies. Fantastic match.
Wonderful. Mr. 55.
When I saw this match was announced, like as the match coming up, I was like, okay, this card placement is just all over the place. Britt Baker is one of the most over people in the company right now, one of the hottest wrestlers in your company, in the industry, and you're having her this early in the night. But okay, I get it. The card was fucking stacked. So I love me some Britt Baker. That is no secret. I thought throughout this match, I didn't actually end up taking many notes because by the end of this, I actually ended up having me pretty invested. Maybe just because I was also just looking at Britt Baker a lot. I did want to point out Kris Statlander has a really nice inside hook Falcon Arrow. She was, I thought she pulled off a lot of her moves really clean tonight. And that was just one of the examples. It was by this point in the show as well that this really started to feel like a big show. Started to really bring on that big show feel. And I think that's when we started to point it out as well. But yeah, no, it was a good match. And of course, another good showing from Britt Baker. I do want to say, of course, we did know who was going to win this one. It was pretty obvious from the get-go. But of course, it is always nice to see a new challenger. It's always nice to see a new challenger, especially when they're always going to go out there, have a go, put on a good match. It actually ended up going much longer than I expected it would. But I felt like it held up the pace for most of the time. And by the end of the match, the job was done. So well done to Britt Baker and well done to Kris Statlander.
Sick. And hello to Instant Classic. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you being with us. Okay, following this, we go backstage and Andrade interview. DJ, what did you think?
Look, I once again didn't give a shit about this. I haven't really given a shit about this matchup since we've been watching for these reviews. There was kind of a funny moment where Chavo sort of implied through an offhanded little comment about American Airlines that he, in fact, canceled Pac's flight. In reality, we know that it's because of, COVID-related travel issues. But it was a nice touch that he sort of kind of made it seem like he actually got the flight canceled or had some sort of interference with it. that was kind of funny. But anyway, basically Andrade denied that they had anything to do with stopping Puck from getting into the United States, and then went on to say that he's looking forward to wrestling him on Rampage. Not much to it. As I said before the pay-per-view, the match will probably be great from an in-ring point of view, but I still probably won't give a shit about it because it's got no heat on it.
Yeah, well, DJ, you and I have reviewed the last, 6-7 weeks of Dynamite and Rampage. Jack, you've popped in here and there as well. And this story between Andrade and Park has been fucking shit. Terribly written story. It has no legs to it. There's no depth to it. It's just like, let's try and come up with a random issue that they can have to have this matchup. And this pay-per-view didn't need that match. This pay-per-view was great even without it. You didn't need it. So, Jack, did you have anything to follow up on this?
Nah.
No? Cool.
Nah.
All right. Let's move forward, guys. So we've had some, 3 pretty hectic matches, and then we found out that the tag team title cage match was next, and we're like, fuck, this will go 40 minutes, that's for sure. Jack, I'm going to let you take this one away. Young Bucks tag title match against the Lucha Brothers cage match, all out. What do you think?
First of all, it's a really big fucking cage, isn't it? Jesus fucking Christ.
Fucking big fucking cage.
A huge cage, man. Look, unpopular opinion, but the entrance for the Lucha Bros was cringe as fuck. But also, this really had a big match feel as a result of that entrance. So, I mean, it kind of went both ways for me. This was a match that we were all expecting it to go. An absolute spot fest. The Hurricanrana spot where it looked like, I can't remember which fucking young fuck it was, almost broke his neck. That was incredible. Kudos to both guys, and good on one of the Jacksons for surviving that one. But I did want to point out as well that nobody was selling shit in this match. It was SmackDown 2 levels. SmackDown 2 levels of selling in this one, man. The top rope Canadian Destroyer was amazing. But the clearly very choreographed bullshit at the end ruined that match. The match went from, like, in my opinion, like from almost as perfect as it could have got to pretty stupid as a result of the ending. But thank fuck for the new champions though, right? Because holy shit, that took a while. And in case anyone is wondering which spot I'm talking about, the one where they stood there for about 3 minutes trading punches and super kicks and not selling any of it.
Yeah.
None of it.
No, I'll wait for my turn, but yeah.
They all just stood in a circle, just taking it. And that just completely ruined the match for me because I'm not a fan of like the Young Bucks. Love the Lucha Bros, but not the Young Bucks. This style of match that I came to enjoy by the end of it until that spot. So fuck, man. But stoked for the result. Happy for the Lucha Bros, man. I thought they did fucking awesome. The thumbtacks on the bottom of shoes was awesome. Great spot. And this match was everything I thought it was going to be, and not surprised by any of it. But again, thank fuck for new champions.
Yeah, DJ, your turn. An instant classic just said Carl is going to have a field day with this. Yeah, no, I'm biding my time, bro. I'm ready. I have more notes on this than anything. DJ.
When this first started, when this was going maybe for the first like 5, 6, 7 minutes, I was like, fuck yeah, this is going to be your big like high spot moment for the show. This is going to be the match where everything's wild and crazy and they're kind of just doing a bunch of, crazy stuff. I was prepared to sort of disregard my suspension of disbelief because there's tornado rules, so they don't have to worry about tag rules. There is no disqualification. They are literally allowed to do anything that they want. So fuck it. Get as creative as you want. However, that enjoyment still eventually turned into a groan of disappointment from the moment that Nick Jackson took a Canadian Destroyer off the top rope and kicked out at 2. That was...
Oh, no, there was no pin attempt, bro.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. No, you're right, Carl. You're right.
No pin
It's
attempt.
just natural instinct to think that you'd go for a pin after such a giant move.
Of course.
There wasn't even a pin attempt, Instead, the match just continued. The crowd was at a fever pitch right at the moment of that Canadian Destroyer off the top rope. That was the perfect fucking moment to fucking have them get that pin, and the place would have just erupted. It would have been a bigger pop than the one that occurred when they actually did finish the match. Straight after that Canadian Destroyer spot, right when I'm sitting there lamenting how annoying it is that they're going to continue on after that, they start doing this phony, multiple super kick bullshit where nobody's taking any bumps despite taking these earth-shattering strikes to the head, and despite the fact that it's already fucking a good 17 or 18 minutes into the match by this point, and they've taken a lot of abuse. But nah, let's just act like we're a bunch of trainees, like fucking messing around in the ring before a show, and fucking see how much shit we can squeeze in before we actually have to go home. So, this company just has a problem with, like, they can't leave well enough alone. They go and produce something that's really entertaining, like the first 2/3 of this match, and then they have to go and fucking drive it into the fucking ground and beat that dead horse by fucking, it's overkill, man. It's absolute overkill. And Lucha Brothers finally won. There was a pretty impressive dive off the top, which looked pretty brutal. They hit their finishing move. The crowd did pop, but I still think that they pushed it a little bit too far. There was a nice moment with, Lucha Brothers, one of their families coming with them for a hug and stuff like that. I'm a sucker for stuff like that because I'm a big softie, so I like stuff like that. But other than that, this match went from being a potential A all the way down to a C- because they just dragged it on for about 15 minutes too long.
Well, bro, you know that Dave Meltzer's going to be like, I'd have to say that Young Bucks Lucha Brothers match. I mean, my God. I mean, I have to give that 5 stars. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, wow. Just wow. I mean, and okay. All right, my turn. Here we go. So Muelas de Galo does a nice little rap for the entrance. I thought it was a cool entrance, but the backing dancers were shit. Get legit dancers. Like, it looked like you just got a bunch of like local jobbers to like learn a couple of choreographed dance moves. I don't know where that came from, but like it was cool to have like live music, for the entrance there. First thing I'm writing down, Spot Fest. No one's selling anything, and as Jack alluded to earlier, SmackDown 2. On SmackDown 2 when you're playing on PlayStation and you hit a move on someone, and before you can even go for a pin, they do a roll and they're back up on their feet. Like, that was almost as bad as what was going on here.
Yeah.
Nobody in the match at all looked like that they were desperate for a pinfall victory, because the whole point of a match, and you can ask Mr. Al Snow about this, is to get a pin to win the match. The most important thing is that 1, 2, 3. Tony Schiavone on commentary talking to Don Callis. 2 great quotes. Stop with the bullshit. Don rebuttals, and then he goes, "You are so full of shit." Like, I love that they're utilizing at least the word shit on the show. It's like, we're human beings. We're grown men. We talk like this, especially on pay-per-view as well. So I like that AEW at least utilized the word shit. I mean, I don't even think WWE can say the word bitch or anything like that. But I'm quoting a friend of mine, my friend Kev. He messaged me earlier. He was in the middle of watching this. He's still watching it now. But his response to this matchup was, "You hit me, then I hit you, and wait, then you hit me, wait, then I hit you." Like, that's kind of how it felt like to him. And Jack, I do want to disagree with you on the shoe spot, because it was stupid and had no bearing on anything. It was not going to affect anyone to the point of being able to get a pinfall. The only reason you should do this is for that close camera shot on the guy that you super kick in the head to see all of these thumbtacks stuck in his mask.
Yeah,
but I think he did it, and there was only one in the top of his mask. If they were able to figure out a way to like get that all stuck in there, then okay, cool. We got the visual. That's all that matters. The guy's going to be in pain. But it just, to me, the kicks looked quite weak as well. So, but like, I get what you mean, Jack. The idea of it is really cool, but I just feel like the the way it looked didn't end up, coming across. Like it's like when they did the Meltzer driver whilst trying to dunk a basketball at the same time. He missed the dunk, and it's like you have an idea of something that's good, guys, but unless it's when it's executed, if it's not executed perfectly, then you end up looking kind of silly. Again, DJ, you mentioned it. The destroyer off the top was fucked. And I wrote, this should be the end of Matt Jackson. He shouldn't get back up at all. He's done. It should be now about finishing off Nick Jackson and getting that pinfall. But then within 20 seconds, Matt's back up on his feet. And him being back up on his feet ruins the whole thing. I'm taken completely out of this matchup. The suspension of disbelief is now gone because now they want to do a little spot where they have a flurry of super kicks over and over and over again. People getting kicked full pelt in the fucking head and not bumping it over and over. How is he not bumping from a super kick when he's just taken a destroyer off the top rope? I would love for Dave Meltzer to be here on this show right here, right now and defend that to me. Because I bet he would find a way to be like, oh, well, you know what, Carl, I mean, it was just fantastic, No, fuck you, Dave, all right? Shut the fuck up, all right? So the flurry of super kicks ruined the match. The crossbody off the top of the cage, very, very, very spectacular. But it's like you're forcing this fucking thing to happen because it's a cage match, so we have to do something off the top. So let's do all this crazy shit and then have the guy, his tag partner, hold both Young Bucks, knowing he's going to cop it as well. Takes a crossbody, and then lo and behold, he's okay after the crossbody so they can hit their fucking double team finisher. And another thing my friend Kev said is it always seems like in a Young Bucks match, the move that actually ends the match ends up being less impressive than stuff that previously happened. And again, DJ, like when you and I talk about stuff with the Elite over the last 6-7 weeks, it's always overkill. It's always like you do it to this point, but then they got to keep doing a little bit more. When you got the full stop at the end of the sentence right there, you don't need to keep fucking going. It's overkill, and it kind of takes the heat out of the spot. You want to pop that crowd, just like one of you said before. You want to pop that crowd when it's at the height of emotion from that audience with a destroyer off the top rope. That's when you fucking end it. You don't keep dragging it on, just like I've dragged on my review of this match. And I wrote down the last thing. Thank fucking God it's over. Sorry. I know there's people out there that probably loved it, and it's cool. We have again, we talk about the Japanese stuff. Okay, this is nice having the Mexican kind of thing, with the rapper coming out. He's, in their native tongue. That's cool. That attracts the Mexican, wrestling fan to this product. Seeing the Lucha Brothers have this moment. Awesome, man. Awesome. But what led to it, from my standpoint, was just overkill bullshit. Like I'm always expecting from the Young Bucks. That's 3 pay-per-views in a row now that I've not been impressed with what they've done. And I bet it's going to continue that fucking way. And that's pretty much all my thoughts, guys. I apologize for getting a little passionate there, but
fair enough.
Anyway, it's just things like this. Like if it went the way that it probably should have gone, maybe then I might start easing into liking the Young Bucks a little bit. When they keep doing stuff like this, it's just like they keep me at arm's length as usual. All right, let's get away from this, guys. And one other point, and I want to hear what you guys think, the crowd. Does it pain you guys that we see what this really is for, and other people out there? I've already had messages from other people about this. Does it annoy you to hear the fans just eat it all up? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does. I've got to say
Fight
this.
forever. No, they already did.
To anyone that wants to come at me on social media and say, "Oh, well, the crowd was into it, so how can you say that it's not over and stuff?" You're right. The AEW crowd is into it. The AEW product has been bolstered by fans right from the beginning who hitched their wagon to the company before they even saw the first show, who decided that this company was going to be better than WWE and was going to put it out of business before the first show ever happened. And now, whether they like the show or whether they really don't, they feel compelled that they've got to stick with it. And they're never going to tell you that anything at AEW is bad. And of course they're going to fucking cheer for it because they're the ones that go out of their way to buy tickets for the show and stuff like that. Do you think AEW would be able to draw a 50 or 70,000 like fan gate? I don't think so. I don't think they'd be able to pack 80,000 fans in like to a building the same way WWE can for a WrestleMania. Just because that crowd there is into it, of course they are, because it's their crowd, it's their fans. They're the majority of them. There's less casual fans in the AEW crowd than there is in WWE. Great. It's over to that audience. I'm not denying that. But just because they want to eat it up and stuff like that doesn't mean that it's the right way to keep doing things. It's still eventually going to lead to a law of diminishing returns. I'd argue that the returns have already started diminishing by this point.
Yeah. Cool, bro. And I want to shout out Instant Classic. I thought the headpieces were very cool as well on the Lucha Brothers entrance. But anyway, moving on from there, guys. Okay, Casino Battle Royale, 21 women. Winner gets a shot at the championship at some point. I'm just going to I've only got a couple of things, and then I'll get you guys to take this one. Some of the entrances, man, like they're bad at ensuring that we do a camera shot of each entrant because someone enters and they've got a spot to do, so they're shooting the spot. The next person's already like halfway down the ramp and they're already in the ring, and you don't. There were a few girls I didn't even know who they were because I didn't get an entrance with a nameplate. I'm not asking for a Royal Rumble here where it's one entrant at a time, but they need to figure out how to time this thing because. One girl, I don't even know who she was. I can't even remember her name now. I think she was wearing kind of like purple, maybe a little bit of color in her hair. She got eliminated pretty quickly by Nyla Rose, I think. I had no idea who she was, still don't know. It's just like when you do something like this, you have to ensure you at least get one close-up shot of them during that entrance or even once they've got in the ring and a fucking nameplate, as far as I'm concerned. Also love that the referees got yocked at one stage there with that press to the outside by Jade Cargill. I will be honest, guys, when it was the Joker, the crowd kind of preempted it as they tend to like to do. Ruby Soho was the Joker. And I'll be honest, I got goosebumps. I don't know why. But my hair stood on my on end and I was like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? But I was pumped to see her come out and get the victory. And, it's the first time that I feel that she's been prominently featured in a spot. So I think it's good for her, nice for her. I like the moment. And as far as I'm concerned, best casino battle royale I've seen, Revolution, Double or Nothing, those were shit. I don't care what anyone has to say about it. They were shit. And I'm going to let... who wants to go first for this one?
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right,
I'll go for it.
Jack, you can wait, and DJ, you can go.
No, go.
Yeah, so look, I thought that the first 2/3 of this match were absolute fucking what was just garbage. It's like, okay, think about any movie that you've ever watched about like a big martial arts tournament or something like that, where there's only going to be one winner. Well, at the very beginning of the story, you find out who all the players are and who all the competitors are. And, they've each got a little backstory or a little detail about them that's kind of their hook for the story that gets you invested in seeing what's going to happen to them. Then one by one, they get knocked out until you finally have your winner. The Battle Royal is meant to be like a professional wrestling version of that, like a hero's journey. Can they overcome the odds? If you don't explain to the audience why is this specific person not just in the match, but why are they a threat? Why should everybody else be worried that this person's in the match? Like with Nyla Rose, that's good. She has a power advantage and a size advantage. Like Hikaru Shida is a former women's champion, so she's always dangerous. Like, obviously, you had Ruby Soho. That's she's intriguing because she's just showed up and she's the Joker entrant. Obviously, they've done a good job of getting people invested in like Bunny, Penelope Ford, like Anna Jay and stuff is already hugely over. But other than those people that I just mentioned by name there were a lot of other women in this match who were done a disservice because the production team and the commentators didn't really make much of an effort to sort of highlight them and make it see. Because so as a result, it didn't really matter when anyone got eliminated. I was just waiting for the match to finally come to an end. But it finally eventually heated up when we got to the last 3 or 4 people. And I was really impressed with the work that the ladies did to actually tease a bunch of eliminations before they actually got there. You know, it wasn't just like in WWE a lot of the time now when they do a Battle Royal or a Royal Rumble. Once it gets to the final 2, they've basically only got a couple of minutes left on the show, and you pretty much just get one spot and then someone gets thrown out. But here we went back to the old school ways of actually teasing that Battle Royal elimination. And finally, at the very end, you know, after a well-placed kick, Thunder Rosa like toppled off of that apron. And we had our winner, Ruby Soho. And again, I'm going to give this match a C-. I think that this could have been better, but it was sort of salvaged in the end.
Very good. Jack, take it away, bro.
Very nice. I enjoyed this match. I'm a sucker for Battle Royals, for starters. I've never quite been a fan of the whole Casino Battle Royale concept of having, like, it's different. And I like that it's different, it's unique, and I'm glad they're trying it, and I'm glad they're running with it and giving it a few tries. But it's personally not working for me, man, and I don't know why they keep having to do it every pay-per-view. It just feels like such a lazy way of finding a number 1 contender. That being said, though, like, you know, it was a fun match overall. Again, I'm a sucker for Battle Royals. Timed Battle Royals, even better. Thunder Rosa was my favorite to win this one, so I was a little disheartened to see that she was not the one to be, but of course the winner... Yeah, it was a pretty heartwarming moment itself. I mean, after the trouble of the Shock release a few months ago for Ruby Soho, it's nice to see her finally get a moment. As much as I did want Thunder Rosa to win, but I won't take that away from Ruby Soho. I just hope this leads to something good. But of course, I do know that. Well, I feel like Dr. Britt Baker is going to be holding that women's championship for quite a long time. So just I'm not too sure it's the right move to make, because it's like you're just walking Ruby Soho straight into a loss, and then after she loses, she's just going to be going back to, you know, just another woman on the roster. She wouldn't be anyone special like everyone's sort of treating her to be. But hey, look, I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm hoping that it all works out for Ruby, because she deserves somewhere that's going to treat her right, and I feel like AEW is a good home for her. So we'll see how this goes. And I love Take On You.
Yeah, no worries, bro. And just to follow up on some of your sentiments there, you know, when we had the previous Casino Battle Royales, you knew Jungle Boy wasn't going to beat Kenny Omega. You knew that was it Phoenix and Park that won the tag team one at Revolution, that shithole of a pay-per-view. You knew that they weren't going to be beating the Young Bucks for the tag titles. So these foregone conclusions have been a big problem of mine for quite some time. I think if Thunder Rosa won it, you might not quite know if she might beat Britt for the belt, because the fans are behind her as well. Ruby Soho, again, it's a really heartwarming, great moment, but this early on, you know, I don't see her taking the belt from her. But either way, it's okay. It's just I just hope they don't waste it by just putting it on Dynamite. Hope they save it for Full Gear in November. All right, it's time to move forward again. I know you have a little bit of issues with this one too, Jack, and so I'm going to let you take this one away. It's Jericho and MJF. It's the final match of their feud, and if Jericho loses, he does not get to have the opportunity to wrestle in AEW again. Take it away, bro.
Yeah, look, I just, I don't know. I feel like this feud has just gone on for far too fucking long, man. Like, I love a good long-term story, but holy shit, this one's gone almost 2 years, man, and it hasn't been interesting for a lot of it. It's just come in sort of waves, in my opinion, so I'm glad this one was I was glad to see this one get wrapped up. The old school countdown Titantron for MJF was fucking incredible. I don't even think I'm allowed to call it a Titantron. Should we call it like the Jagtron?
we're so like stuck on that saying, which hasn't been used since like the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't not say Titantron, but look,
Yeah.
so the old school Titantron is fucking amazing. A little throwback to the Attitude. I'm surprised they were able to get away with that. That's wouldn't that be WWE intellectual property?
They
Perhaps.
probably like changed like some of the fucking tones slightly so
Hmm.
that they can get away with it, you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know, but I loved it. Jericho's entrance kind of sucked in my opinion. Just the guitar sort of overpowered too much, and it didn't sound that great. But that's just my opinion. Other people probably disagree. For the match itself, though, like I just could never get into it. It was just I'm not sure if it was just like the pacing of the show and how long it was gone for already was sort of catching up with me at this point. There were a couple of points at this match that I was like that popped me, like the sit out Liger bomb from this top rope. That was gorgeous. The screwy finish kind of woke me up a bit as well. I thought the finish of the match was really, really well done. They sort of had us all there. And of course, Jericho's foot on the rope, and Aubrey wasn't able to notice it. I thought this was really well done. It was played out well. We all knew that Aubrey was going to end up seeing it on the rope. So it was dragged out a little bit, but I thought it was dragged out probably appropriate for the occasion. The Great Lion Tamer finish. We haven't seen a Lion Tamer like where he steps back like that. That's a rarity. I don't think I've seen that recently anyway. I'm not sure if you guys have. I kind of knew Jericho was going to win from the start nonetheless. I mean, Jericho's retirement would have to be bigger than this. Come on now, it's Chris Jericho. And
Yeah.
one thing that really bothered me though is why does MJF lose this feud? After all that, and now he loses this feud. I don't know. I feel like MJF now coming out of this feud looks much weaker than he was at the start of AEW. Like I'm much less interested in MJF's work and what he's going to be doing now moving forward compared to how MJF was back in October of 2019 when Dynamite debuted. So it'd be interesting to see how things go for MJF moving forward. But look, I think there's some questionable booking here, and I feel like this one, and if anything, everything's in Jericho's favor in the end of this, and it just doesn't make sense when he's like in the twilight of his career, about to probably maybe got a year's top left in him, and should be looking to start putting people over instead of and making stars instead of continuing to put himself over these young names and young stars, young potential stars like people like Maxwell Jacob Friedman. But that's just me.
Yeah, no worries, bro. DJ, your thoughts?
Look, I thought that the fifth labor should have been, probably been delayed to this pay-per-view here rather than blowing it off on Dynamite several weeks ago. I didn't really care that much for the match until the last 6 or 7 minutes. In the last 6 or 7 minutes, basically from the Heat Seeker off the top, thank you for the bits, Wilford, from the Heat Seeker off the top rope onwards, I really started to get more invested in the match. But once again, it just felt like, well, we've already seen the match a couple of weeks ago. MJF had his win. I sort of considered the matter to be done at that point. I don't think anyone really thought Jericho was hanging it up for good, especially not with all this new talent that's just walked in through the door. And thank God we don't have to be subjected to him in a full-time commentary role on Dynamite. So, I'm actually glad Jericho won in that respect. So I'd probably give this again another C-. It was okay, but didn't set the world on fire for me.
Yeah, DJ. No, I'd give that pick of your nose just there 5 stars.
I didn't pick my nose. I scratched it like that.
Oh, you scratched on the outside like Jerry Seinfeld. My bad,
it's an itch.
Dave?
Not
Oh, bro. Sorry, I have to be annoying sometimes.
Dave?
All right, well,
Dave?
Dave?
So yeah, and thank you, Jay Wilford, again for the bits. That's awesome. A few other comments here in the chat. I'm a Creation mentioned that Jericho dropped a blade after taking the Heat Seeker pile driver. I didn't see that, so I'll have to go back and check that out. Instant Classic also says that I think the pyro feedback kind of killed Jericho's entrance.
Yeah.
And Stream Elements also says if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to follow. So thank you, Stream Elements. So yeah,
good bot.
Good bod.
So Billy Gray from Fozzy does do his thing, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like the entrance for that part, it felt like the crowd's sing along was drowned out for sure. I also wrote down that I thought that all the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle should try and get involved. And I wrote down at the end of the match, why wouldn't the rest of the Pinnacle be on standby? Because this is a pretty big moment. You think MJF will be like, look, if things go hairy, you know, not just have Wardlow, but you've got four other guys if you include Tully. You've got four other guys there. Why aren't they coming out? You'd have Santana and Ortiz there, and Sammy Guevara as well. I just think it needed them as well. I know that interferences can be annoying, but if you're going to do it with Jake Hager and Wardlow, then I think all of them should at least have a little bit of a cameo here to kind of like, you know, they brawl, they fucking disappear, whatever. It just makes no sense to me that all of the Pinnacle wouldn't be on standby to help him out, because it's MJF after all. He's gonna want to like have a rabbit in the hat, so to speak. I like that there was a slow build for the match. There was a powerbomb on the ring apron by Jericho onto MJF, which was cool. As DJ mentioned, it kicked into another gear, this matchup. There was a move that MJF hit a sit-down powerbomb off the second turnbuckle, I believe. And when he landed after the powerbomb had already taken place, the screams that came from MJF, I thought were really, for a second, I thought, has he actually really hurt himself? So I thought that selling was really good. The finish of the match was what it was. You know, it was a good bit of drama there added to it. But yeah, again, I just thought it was strange. Like, this is the first time in DJ, again, 7 weeks now we've covered the show. We have not seen the Inner Circle together as a unit in 7 weeks until tonight. We have not seen the Pinnacle all together, even just getting out of a limo together or hanging out in their locker room together. You have a stable on your roster. You want to get over the fact that they're always together, they're always plotting, they're always planning out their shit. So I think this is one thing that AEW should look at, is ensuring that they keep that going, and the guys are wearing the shirts, you're promoting the shirts. You know, I just think that's an important aspect of stables, of all 25 of them that they've got in the roster. That's something that you need to do. You need to constantly have them together, because every time you saw the Horsemen, you saw them together. Every time you saw the NWO, yeah, maybe 2 limousines pulled up and 20 guys walked out, but they're all together all the time. They do a promo in the ring, they're all in the fucking ring together. So that's all I really wanted to add there. But the only other thing I wanted to say was, I'm guessing that they did this matchup because the timing of when that 5th labor took place is so soon and close to the pay-per-view. It's kind of like, well, how do you come up with an issue for them both with 2 other people to get them in 2 separate matches? So I'm sure that's why that they did this, even though it was a little bit of overkill. Anyway, enough from me talking. It's time to talk about what pretty much everyone was waiting to see. 7 years in the making, to see CM Punk back in the ring finally for the first time. It's been a long time. It's strange seeing Tony Schiavone call a CM Punk match. All of this stuff just seems so unlikely. If you would have asked any of us 5 years ago that you'd see something like this, you'd be like, no. So DJ, I'm going to let you take this away. It's CM Punk, Darby Allin, Sting not at ringside, Jack.
Oh.
And an incredibly important match in the history of AEW. Take it away, bro.
This is probably one of the greatest matches that has ever occurred in AEW. Certainly, it might be one of my, maybe my favorite match that I've ever seen in AEW thus far. I thought that Punk, looked in tremendous shape. He came out, did the typical clobbering time thing, and it really felt like, he's soaking in that moment. Oh God, I'm actually back here in the ring having a match. he made the switch from short trunks to long tights. I don't know if that's to honor the fact that he retired the short trunks or something like that, but he's made the change. I think that the tights maybe cover up a little bit more of the legs and stuff. I don't know, maybe he's self-conscious about him. Maybe he just felt like it was time for a change. He finally gets in there. Darby's already waiting in the ring. They spend a good bunch of time when the bell finally rings, before the bell rings, just really soaking it in, sitting down in the ring, facing each other off. Bell rings. This really started with like a feeling out process. CM Punk has maintained all of his speed and explosiveness, but I definitely think that he's sort of pivoted his wrestling style, and I think we're going to start seeing him move away from some of the more high impact, dangerous bumps that he would take, a few of those every match previously. He seems to be moving towards more of a like Bret the Hitman Hart style of like kind of a technical, more of a technique based style where he, kind of uses his finesse and experience to wear down opponents. That is a lot of what he did to Darby Allin here. They traded hammerlocks. They traded arm drags. Darby did some really impressive Lucha-inspired stuff. Great big moment about halfway through the match where Punk hit the first GTS before he had a chance to capitalize on it. Darby had already fallen out of the ring. Great moment there, and great way to protect the move as well. There was a tope, like a somersault dive from the top by Darby onto CM Punk. Looked pretty good. Punk hit all of his classic maneuvers, the knee in the corner. He hit his tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. We didn't see a Pepsi plunge, as you pointed out, Carl, that you had been looking forward to that, but we didn't get one. One of my favorite moments of the match was when Darby went up top for a coffin drop and Punk sat up to move out of the way. Then did kind of a lackadaisical cover, got reversed into a crucifix. Nice sequence of false finishes. Eventually, Punk managed to counter Darby's submission attempt and pinning combinations into a fireman's carry hold. Worked his way up to his feet, hit the GTS for the win. Punk looked great. I don't really think he's lost a step at all, but I do think that he's changed his style up a little bit. He's gotten a little bit wiser with age, and we're seeing a bit more finesse and a little less impact from him, but that's in a good way. So yeah, I would give this match an A-. I really liked it. I thought both guys came out of this. Darby came out of this looking like an absolute star. CM Punk has cemented himself immediately as the top name in this company going forward.
Excellent, bro. Jack, I know that you were a 15-year-old CM Punk fan back in the day. Loved all of his stuff. There's been 7 years since you saw him perform last, so this must have been pretty... This would be almost as big as if Nick Mondo came out of retirement for you. Take it away, man.
This was fucked up. Even if you had told me 6 months ago this was happening, I would have told you to get fucked. It's funny. I had an argument probably about 4 years ago with a mate just saying, actually it would have been 5 years ago, saying, like Jeff Hardy would never come back out of retirement, just like CM Punk would never return to wrestling. Sorry, not Jeff Hardy would never return to WWE, just like CM Punk would never come out of retirement. That was my argument. Both things are fucked up, all right? Edge as well, man.
Your friend could go fuck himself, dude.
Edge? Come on now.
There you go.
Christian?
Yeah, proof of the fucking pudding, cunt.
Daniel Bryan, like, all this is fucked, but this one here is significant for a lot of different reasons. And I think this one, of course, is this one's like a man-made situation. Like, Phil Brooks, the person, could have come back to wrestling at any moment and could have made this moment. Unlike Edge, Daniel Bryan, all those other guys we just named, where that was kind of like, modern medicine just going right for them. So this one for me was pretty big because I remember back in 2011, I watched the Pipe Bomb live. I watched his run in WWE ECW, like as it was happening in real time. in primary school. Pretty much grew up with him. Watched his Money in the Bank win at WrestleMania 24 live. So it's kind of one of those things when you see him finally come back, he's your favorite. And when he left the first time, you're a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake, like my favorite's gone. Now who do I follow? And it was kind of like you feel so lost after that.
Mm.
And of course, I always hate my boy Triple H, but you know, always got my boy Paul Levesque. But as for like a
from
modern,
New York, bro. He's in
from
New
New
York.
York. From like from modern favorite though, man. Like I'm trying to fucking paint the picture here for how significant this is. So, of course, the music hits. Crowd, of course, the pop is as you expect it to be. Comes out rocking the long tights. Fuck, they're so different. I wasn't expecting him to wear any long tights. I was expecting the old trunks, the old gear. But you know, I welcome this change. I welcome it, man.
It's like Hogan, bro.
Exactly.
Like Hogan
man.
went to the long tights. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I am hoping this, like, it's a long term thing where he's rocking the long tights, because I think it's a good look for him. It kind of feels like a fresh start for him too, because I feel like he needs to do something that makes it different from the times before in Ring of Honor, where he's wearing the long basketball shorts, and then he comes to the WWE and wears the trunks. So I think now wearing the long tights, you know, keep it fresh, new chapter. And so the match itself, actually, no, I do want to point this out first before we get into the match. That promo before the match with Darby Allin jumping out of the helicopter. What the fuck?
Oh my god, bro.
I don't know what that was about. I want to know what it was about.
The body bag hanging from the fucking helicopter.
That was stupid.
The whole thing made no
necessary.
fucking sense.
Like, I don't know how much money that might have cost, but you could have just put that money somewhere else.
The promo probably wasn't really needed, man.
No.
So it was really like when the crowd started chanting "Holy shit!" Like, yes, holy shit, indeed. It was just a weird scenario, man. Like Tony Schiavone and JR are commentating a match together with CM Punk in it. Sting is the manager of one of these wrestlers in the match.
Ridiculous, right?
Just insanity, man. It's 2021, mind you, so I'm just like, it's just fucked. Seeing the GTS for the first time was fucking incredible. Actually, the first time in a match, just incredible feeling, man. It was just so good to see this again. Hasn't missed a step. Looks incredible. Great shape. Dude, I could just sit here all night and just keep saying the same fucking words over and over.
Just fucking tugging it, bro. Yeah.
Great match. Great finish. Match of the night for me. Thank you, AEW.
Excellent, bro. Excellent. And I'll finish off with a few. I've only got a short amount of notes, but yeah, so as you alluded to, the video before Darby's entrance was unnecessary. Let's just get to the match. Early on, there was a nice tease with the GTS and the way that they got out of that. I really like that stuff. And here we go. All of you little skid marks out there that want to talk shit about this match and think that, maybe Punk's lost his... It's a slow build for a fucking reason, because the cunt knows how to tell a story and build it up, and then you kick into the next gear. That's how it works, cunt. So great slow build. They up the ante every now and then slow it down. It's a roller coaster ride. That's what you're supposed to be telling. It's not like the whole thing's a roller coaster, just going down on a roller coaster and going up and then going down like a Young Bucks in that match. No, a roller coaster ride, there's slow parts. But then you get that bit, then you come back up, and then you come back down again. That's a roller coaster ride right there, bro, you know? And that's what gets me pissed off with a lot of fans these days. People looking to fucking be negative on this. This was exactly what it needed to be. This was perfectly told. The story was told perfectly. That first GTS that he hit and Darby ended up spilling to the outside, and you see Punk diving like, no, shit, I had him. That is great storytelling right there. Great fucking win. I haven't really got anything else to add to it other than best match on the show, as far as I'm concerned. So fucking happy for that guy to come back. There's still a lot of fans out there that aren't sold on him yet because they're still so mad at him for leaving WWE 7 years ago. Bro, you try and be that miserable in a job and just stay there just because you want to see him every week. Like, he's not going to do that. I quit my job recently because I was miserable there. I ain't going to stick around there and fuck my mental health up. Exactly. I'm not going to keep fucking my mental health up over and over again, working somewhere for 3.5 years, hating every single day that I wake up, knowing that I've got to go to that shithole again. You know, you walk a mile in his shoes and maybe you'll fucking understand why he might have been a prick or had been so silent for so long and never wanted to return. I don't fucking blame the guy one fucking bit. So I'm so happy for him. And, you know, this did so much for him and Darby, because those casual fans that CM Punk fans, they're tuning into this. They're buying this on pay-per-view to see this fucking happen. And I guarantee you, coming out of this, they're like, oh, that Darby Allin's pretty good too. So that's what this is all about. Glad that Punk won. He couldn't have lost this match. It would have been stupid. Anyway, guys, okay, we'll move on from the highlight of the show. Let's have a look at the comments here. Hannah, very good points, Carl. Thank you, Hannah. You're very good too. It's quite clear how good CM Punk is. Yeah, it's quite clear how good you are, Hannah. I'm a creation. Jack, look at what I sent you on Messenger.
Oh, I do actually want to point this out. I'll put it to the camera.
Okay. Yeah. Good call, Ivo. Good call. An instant classic throws out with absolute great wrestling psychology. You got it, bro. Okay, let's get to the next one. I said this recently on my what was it, DJ? Was it on Rampage? Our Rampage review. We went on a bit of a rant about fans out there talking shit about QT Marshall versus Paul Wight being on the pay-per-view. It should be on the buy-in. Like, why is this match on the pay-per-view? Because it's Paul Wight, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's the big show. He's one of the biggest names that's ever been in the business. He's a Hall of Famer. He's done more with his life than you'll ever hope to do. And that's why he's on the pay-per-view. You hear me? You hear me? He's the big show, bitch.
Yeah. Since 95, the guy's been famous in wrestling. He beat Hogan in his fucking debut for the championship, okay? All these years later, you're gonna tell me that Tony Khan, or what, 5'5" of him, is gonna go up to Paul Wight and be like, yeah, sorry, bro, we're gonna put you on the buy-in on your debut match in AEW. No. Here's how it is. I'm gonna lay it right out there for all of you motherfucking marks, okay? Paul Wight deserves something nice, okay? Because he spent I don't know how many fucking years now doing nothing, sitting on the sidelines, just wanting to fucking contribute, just wanting to do something. And they've done nothing with him over there in the WWE. So AEW bring him in. They wanted to being an analyst. I bet you when he found out that that's what they wanted to do with him, even if it is elevation, I guarantee he was like, man, someone believes in me and wants to do something with me. Not have me sit on my fucking couch at home doing nothing. He wants to contribute, just like Mark Henry. That's why he's there now. Just like Christian. That's why he's there now. Christian wanted to be on the roster, but they didn't have anything for Christian.
You fucking serious?
Fuck me dead, man. Dude, they had no ideas, no plans for him. He did the Rumble. Oh, that's it.
Dude, it's fucking Christian.
Everyone was fucking keen, cunt. Everyone was keen. But no. Again, their loss is AEW's gain. They don't do right by people in the twilight of their career. No one gets a proper send-off. I think the last one I saw was Tommy Dreamer on fucking WWE ECW, and he's still fucking wrestling today. He just main evented Impact the other day. So
wait, no, you know what it's like, Carl? It's exactly the same as like when Randy Savage went to WCW because they were trying to
put him out to pasture, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to phase him out. They were trying to tell him his day was done, and they didn't really want to figure him in as a key person in the company anymore. And he went over there to WCW. Like, this is exactly the same situation.
What was it that Savage wanted, bro? We'll get back to the pay-per-view. But all he wanted was a feud with Shawn Michaels so he could try and do the same thing he did with Steamboat with Shawn Michaels. How can you not do that with Savage in 1993, bro? He goes to WCW and guess what? He does what he wanted to do with fucking Shawn Michaels with DDP, and look where DDP ended up going. So fuck the WWE. They really fucked this shit up quite a lot. Anyway, back to my point. Paul Wight deserves to be on the pay-per-view. I don't give a flying fuck if it's a typical Big Show match. I don't give a shit. He deserves that spot. He deserves that limelight. Even if he doesn't work that many more times after this. He said, I want to test myself with a Kenny Omega. I want to test myself working with these different young guys now. He should get the opportunity to, because guess what? He's fucking the Big Show. He's Paul Wight, motherfucker. So fuck you. Anyway. Oh, yeah, bro. The red wine's hitting me now. Jack, take it away. QT Marshall, Paul Wight. Here we go.
Yep, man. It's the fucking Big Show. So I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks or what he had to do in this match. Like, he could do no wrong. And it was a typical Big Show match. And you know what? It was entertaining because it served its purpose. It wasn't too short and it wasn't too long. It was literally like as perfect as you could have got it. The Big Show, Paul Wight, still moves like a fucking machine. He still looks awesome. He still looks intimidating in the ring. He still moves great, like I just said. My God, man. Fucking... He doesn't need a full-time run, but dude, he deserves an opportunity to test himself. I think he's shown it, and I do want to get to this in the closing moments of the show, but WWE have truly fucked it. And what their loss is AEW's gain, as you said. That's all I got to say on the matter, man. Love me some Big Show.
Absolutely, bro. And, you know, who wouldn't want to see what Kenny Omega could do with Paul Wight? Yeah. That would be so interesting. I would tune in just to see what the fuck he's going to try and do, because it's not going to look... he's going to have to figure something out to make it look like he can beat him. But DJ, your thoughts on QT Marshall, Paul Wight?
Look, I thought that this match delivered exactly what I wanted to see. I was surprised that they put this on directly after the Punk match, but I think that they did that as kind of a buffer match to kind of bring the crowd down a little bit before the main event, to give the main event a better chance of succeeding. But, you know, they managed to... QT and Big Show managed to keep the crowd entertained anyway. I thought that this was like exactly the perfect length. It wasn't like a 2-minute squash, and it wasn't a fucking 20-minute, you know, like pulling teeth out type of match where it was slow and plodding. It was just, you know, the right length of time. The right person won. They didn't spend heaps of time kicking out of a bunch of crap. It was pretty much one and done with the choke slam, and that was the end of the match. I really enjoyed this, and I think that I'll be more intrigued to see what QT Marshall does in the future, thanks to the Big Show working with him and his work in this feud. So this is getting a B+ from me. Fuck anyone that has a problem with it.
Well,
good call, bro. Because sorry, Jack.
You know, I love the Big Show. I love Shelby.
Yeah, you know,
I love Paul. I love Paul.
You know, I love Whitey and. Look, DJ and I. Look, Jack. I know you've been a bit puzzled by it, but we've been popping for QT Marshall over the last few weeks.
I don't know why.
He's stepping his foot into a massive pile of shit, and he knows. What does he think's gonna fucking happen when you bring up on the big screen shots of his hip surgery, or he's at the commentary table and he's fucking egging him on? What is it? Every time Big Show snaps at him, QT's like, "Oh shit!" Like, what did you think? That's why we're popping for him, because he's such a dumbass, and it is such an unearned position that he has boys backing him up just because he's got a school where he's teaching people how to wrestle. He's got boys backing him up. Why does he have boys backing him up? It's QT Marshall.
Yeah.
No one ever heard of him before his feud with Cody and the Nightmare Family and all that bullshit. Why?
Yeah, he
it's
acts
so
like
unearned. He doesn't deserve it, and that's why I like him.
Such a fuckhead.
He is a fuckhead. But look, this match served its purpose. It was really the only one note I wrote was perfect. This is all it needed to be. You showcased Paul Wight. You gave him, you put him up on the pedestal that he deserved. He's not just being left at home. He can contribute now. I'm fucking happy and proud of him. And, you know, this is what it's all about, man. It's like, again, different flavors on the show. You get the Japanese, you get the Lucha brothers with the Mexican, you get the, you know, that high flying stuff, you get the hard hitting shit. But then you get something like this. A big guy, a fucking guy that who's going to fucking be able to beat him? You know, you make it realistic. How even at his age right now, how is Kenny Omega? How is Jungle Boy? How would Marco Stunt go against Paul Wight? I want to see Paul Wight versus Marco Stunt. I'm telling you right now, that is a match I want to see, and I want to see Marco get fucking destroyed. Okay, so there we go. Happy with the result. The feud was fantastic, except for the Tony Schiavone bit with his son. But everything else awesome. Moving forward, guys, John Moxley cutting a promo backstage.
Yeah.
I know both of you did not like it. Jack, I'm starting with you. Tell me how you felt about this.
Move on.
Yeah, sorry, DJ.
Yeah, nah, this freaking straight up sucked, man. I don't care to see too many more of these backstage promos. He's not in the Shield anymore, and it doesn't have the kind of ominous tension that the promos had in the Shield, because he's a different character. He needs to approach this a different way. You can't just tell me that you've tried every drug there is and expect me to think, oh my God, what a badass.
Why did the crowd pop for that?
I don't know.
Like, they haven't even drank a beer, most of those losers.
Moxley is not Stone Cold. He's never going to be, there'll only ever be one Stone Cold. I don't get why so many wrestlers always try and do this. He's trying to be like some kind of Japanese, like gaijin version of Stone Cold that's going to take on all these Japanese wrestlers and all these people from overseas. I need a reason to give a shit beyond, I've sent a contract over to you. Are you man enough to sign it? Well, why'd you pick that guy? What history do you have with him? Why is it something that we should get into? It's not there for me. Like, it's definitely not there for me. And, this was the worst point in the show to put this on as well.
Yeah, he's done every drug and everyone, yay, heroin. Woo! Meth. Fuck yeah, bro.
Real nice fucking example to set for all the kids in the audience. All the kids are dressed up as Orange Cassidy. Daddy, what's heroin, Daddy?
Fuck me dead. Look, some drugs are all right. Like, you guys partake in a little bit of that.
Yeah, well,
it's fine.
Yeah,
that's cool. But fucking every drug, ice, cool, bro. Yeah, cool,
man. Cool. You've done meth. Sick. Nice.
And look,
fucking gearhead cunt.
to be perfectly honest, man, and I've mentioned this to you guys, I feel like Moxley, look. I know what he's trying to do, but he comes across like a bit of a try-hard. Like, he's this try-hard tough guy, and he's like fucking...
He was cooler before, yeah.
It's like, all right, bro, like, fucking...
I'm trying to act like Rocky.
I don't buy it.
Yeah. I want to be Rocky mixed with Joker from Dark Knight. Yeah.
And just
he certainly is a Joker. Yeah, the fucking... And the thing is, if he was in front of me, I'd be like, oh man, you're doing a great job. Too much. He managed to find the love of one Renee Young, so
good on him.
That's right. Kudos to him for that.
Okay, and we move on from this to a real fucking promo, boys. I'm talking about motherfucking Malakai Black. Jack, take it away.
I think I went and got my dinner at this point.
DJ, take it away.
Once again, another A- for this segment. Excellent promo by Malakai Black. Again, keeping me invested in what he's going to do next. Another great promo.
Yep, and looking at the chat, Hannah says, how the fuck could you not love the Big Show? Well, how the fuck could you not love Hannah? We're moving to our main event of the evening, guys, and... there was a lot of talk online. Should this headline the show? Should it be Punk and Darby? I think with what happened afterward, definitely this should have headlined. I'm going to try again with having Jack open this one. Third time's a charm. You didn't want to mention anything about the Moxley promo. Fair enough. You were getting your dinner with the Malakai promo. Fair enough. You were definitely here for this one because I was there with you. Tell me what your thoughts were on the main event, baby.
Well, I enjoyed it thoroughly. I really enjoyed this match between Christian and Kenny Omega. I really did. And I, believe it or not, cannot get enough of Don Callis on commentary sometimes, man. He was in commentary, right? Sorry, he wasn't.
I don't think he actually was for this one, was he?
I know he was earlier in the night. for the cage
Yeah,
match.
no, I don't think he did it. I don't
Nah,
think he did
wasn't
it
this one?
twice. No,
Fuck, no, he wasn't. No,
but that's okay. That's
but I
okay.
still
We all
love,
make
I
mistakes.
still love me some Don Callis on the commentary. I'm just used to it because I just remember there's going to be a point in this match that I really, really have a problem with. But I remember Don Callis is on the apron, so why would he be in commentary? That's how I remember it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I actually, going into this match, I already knew he was going to win. There's not a chance in hell Christian Cage at this point in his career was going to become the AEW and Impact champion. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. They already did the match at Rampage. They already did it. So I just don't know why they were doing this again. It was a good match and everything, but I just I couldn't get into it as much as I would have liked to have because I just knew he was going to win. And that was Kenny Omega. He's going to be holding the title for a while.
It's that foregone conclusion thing, right, bro?
Yep, every single time, man. Every single time.
Yeah.
But that being
You knew
said,
when it was announced.
exactly. It was a fun match, though, man. I loved most of it. It was. I actually don't have much notes on it because I was just into it, man. But again, of course, wasn't as into it as much as I could have been, unfortunately. So that being said, though, there was this one spot, the table spot, man. First, you've got the double stomp onto the tables on Christian. Okay, the ref is distracted. Cool, fine. He gets away with it. Right. AEW love to pick and choose when to enforce rules. And this is my biggest gripe with them. So, when they did the spear through the table, he's gone through the table, and this is on purpose. You can see this is on purpose. It's intentional. He's intentionally going through the table. And then they start
He did not set up the table, though. He did not set up the table.
Is that a rule?
Playing devil's advocate, bro.
So if a wrestler sets up a table,
fight me, Jack. Fight me. Okay.
Is that an actual thing? Is that where the rules
I
start?
don't know.
Right.
I don't know, bro.
So fuck off, cunt. All right.
I will.
This was my biggest gripe, man, because he just starts counting him out. I'm just sitting there being like, why are you counting out? Just call it disqualification. You know, Kenny Omega wins the match via disqualification. That's what it should have been. Like, you know, there's no point of doing a table spot in a match with disqualifications and countouts. Alright? In SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, when I use tables in a regular match, I get disqualified. So I don't want to see any of this shit.
What if you use announced tables, bro?
But you use them in the same way,
That's one thing that they're missing. That's one thing that they're missing, isn't it? If they want to do a table spot like this, it's probably supposed to be through an announced table, but they don't have that aspect available.
But what's the difference? Like, why don't people get disqualified when going through announced tables, but they do going through regular tables?
Because it's already there. No one set it up. There was no intent by setting it up. They just happened to be on the table at the time.
But it's still a weapon, man.
Hashtag only in wrestling, bro.
Fuck, man, wrestling logic. I always try to challenge it and I always lose. But that was my gripe with it. But yeah, of course, we got the endings with Adam Cole, baby, and then the heel turn of Adam Cole. You know, I'm excited to see where this goes. I was a fan of Adam Cole's earlier NXT run with the Undisputed Era. You know, he kind of dropped off over the last year and a half, 2 years. He's kind of been a bit But I think this will really be a real career freshener for Adam Cole. And of course, the debut of Bryan Danielson. Oh my god. Oh my god, man.
Fuck me dead, bro.
I'm gonna go further into that when we're closing out the show. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Joosey Boy, let's hear it.
Yeah, look, I thought that this match definitely had the right idea by not doing the same kind of match that these two had for the Impact title a couple of weeks ago. I thought that this match was, you know, again, like really good storytelling, kind of built on what they'd already experienced in the first match against each other. I thought Christian looked frickin' phenomenal. He went above and beyond to really like make Kenny look good, and I think that both guys, you know, had the idea that, look, we're not going to be upstaged by the Punk match. Like, we're going to go out there and give this our all. Brutal looking spear through the table by Christian. The leg of the table kind of came up and cut his ribs. Looked pretty brutal. Brutal one-winged angel off the top rope to Christian. I believe that might have been the finish. Freaking brutal bump for Christian to take. The returns at the end, that was pretty cool. I didn't expect Adam Cole to show up there, but he did. I was hoping that he would turn heel and side with the Elite, because having him there would definitely make them a little bit more bearable for me. So that was fun. I love the fact that Daniel Bryan came out to kind of even the odds. But I'm kind of sick of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy always having to be inserted into whatever is new and hot and whatever's going on. It's like they're like, oh, okay, we need some people to kind of like just stand in the corner of this new character we have on TV. They're like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll be the lackeys. It's just like, why does it always have to be them? Like, why did Daniel Bryan's return also have to involve Jurassic Express? You know, I don't view them as being that kind of team yet. I'd have much rather have seen like Santana and Ortiz come out there and in Jurassic Express's place for this segment. So all in all, I'm giving this match another A-. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that both guys came out of this looking great. I think the audience really ate up the debuts, and the debuts kind of like really finished off the show on like a high note. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with those guys going forward.
Yeah, and I will summarize my thoughts here. Again, as Jack mentioned, foregone conclusion. We know Christian's not going to win. So I said to myself, we need something else to happen here for it to be okay, that we know who's going to win this matchup. And I wrote before the match, I think they need somebody to join the Elite here, because I remember there being occasions back in Derby where a pay-per-view would end and someone had joined the NWO, and it would be fucking awesome. Or even the end of a Nitro, a big Nitro with a big title match. It ended with someone crossing over to the dark side of the NWO. I wanted to also state that anybody saying that Christian should not have a chance to be in a spot like this, that you're a cunt and you need to shut the fuck up, because the wind that Christian has within him at this stage in his life, after all these years of being out of the ring, he's keeping up with the younger guys, and as far as I'm concerned, is the best pure wrestler, not like flippy floppy wrestler in AEW right now. He has not faltered one bit in the last 6-7 weeks that I've been watching. So he deserves this spot. He is a main event guy. I don't care what his age is, okay, because I'm more interested in seeing this than Omega versus Hangman right now. I love Hangman, don't get me wrong, but I'm not ready for that yet, because I don't think that they've done a good enough job, no matter how many people think it's so intricately written with Hangman and Omega. I don't think that the story's been written correctly for Hangman to have had his moment here on this pay-per-view. I think that it needs more time. We need to learn more about him with all the casual fans coming in because of Punk, because of Bryan Danielson, because of Adam Cole, etc. Anyway, glad Kenny fucked it on the rail for that moonsault, because it's like, yep, he's human. Can't wait to see what Meltzer says about that. Oh, well, you know what? AEW really need to like work on their rails, because you know we had that fabric on there. Then obviously, like someone might slip, so that's why that happened. It wasn't Kenny's fault at all. It was the rails' fault. It was AEW's fault for that one. But he played it off okay. He did play it off okay. The only other notes that I wrote was there's so many fucking knees to the fucking head that would knock anyone out.
I know, man.
I felt like that was a little bit overkill with the knees to the head. It had to have been at least 5 or 6 of them. It's too much for me. The knee is a very, very hard, dense bone of the body that can knock any fucking person out. I've seen it in UFC and all that stuff. For Kenny to hit it so many times, for Christian to still be okay, maybe 2 knees. Let's bring it down to 2 knees, not fucking 6 or 7. Kenny wins. The one-winged angel off the second rope was fantastic, obviously. And we get to, obviously, what takes place afterward, guys. And, I'll give my thoughts first before I give it to you guys. Adam Cole, just as Kenny's getting to this point in this promo, Adam Cole, well, it goes dark. It goes to black, and then Adam Cole comes out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, God damn it. Damn, I don't think this is how we should end this. I thought it was going to be Bryan Danielson. I don't think it should have been this. I'm not really interested in a feud between Adam Cole and Kenny Omega because I haven't been watching NXT. I haven't at all since like Owens was the champion. So like, man, I hope this isn't the angle going forward because I'm not interested. And man, when he hit that super kick on Jungle Boy, it filled me with so much joy that like a good decision was made there, and it made me feel correct in what I wrote earlier. They need somebody to join the elite here because it felt like it was getting stale. Adding this guy, obviously with a track record with these guys, is as important as anything right now for that group. And as DJ said, isn't as painful going forward because it's someone that, you know, you guys don't really have a problem with like we do with Kenny and the Bucks.
Yeah.
And I thought it was over. I was like, okay, they're ending up the show on a bit of heat. Cool, yeah, cool. I didn't think for a fucking second, man. And when Omega was just about to hit his line, for him to be able to get the old music of Daniel Bryan in WWE, now Bryan Danielson, for that moment to happen, I heard you both react. You heard how I reacted. We went, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? This turned this like pay-per-view from like let's say an 8.5 out of 10 to at least a 9.5 out of 10 or something around that area. There's just like, without a doubt, this was like massive to have this happen. To do it like a double swerve, didn't expect this from AEW. But, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to think that this would be pretty fucking sweet. And I love that JR said, for the love of God, it's Bryan Danielson. There we go. I just said everything I had to say about that. I hope I didn't take up too much of it for you guys. But Jack, I want to hear how you felt when these things happened, because it was just like we thought maybe someone might come out, because I said, guys, there's like 9 minutes still left in the show and we just had the finish of the main event. So then we're like, okay, something's going to happen. Jack, take me through how you felt when this was all going down.
So I had an idea that it was going to happen because for weeks and months it's been rumored that Bryan Danielson was going to show up at All Out. But as the show was getting to a close, it was like I completely had forgotten about all these Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson rumors. That when it happened, it just struck me by surprise all over again, as if I'd never even heard about these rumors. Then when I saw him come out, it was like, okay, now I remember. Where the fuck do WWE go from here? I don't give a fuck that they keep saying that AEW is not competition, because they're going to quickly become competition, and that's going to be very quick as well, because like these names that they're acquiring like aren't really no-name talents. Like these are names that can bring over casual viewers to AEW. These are people that can bring over some WWE diehards, in particular NXT diehards, too, over to AEW. I really feel like these sort of recent acquisitions have probably been the best. Like, if these didn't happen for AEW, I really feel like it would have just been all downhill from here. Just like it was like looking like at the start of the year, but I think they've really fucking done a great job to turn shit around. Like, WWE has brought back Lesnar, Cena, and that's all well and good, but Goldberg, all well and good, but they just haven't been a big deal, like in the same way of CM Punk coming back after 7 years, dude. Like, Edge is fucking awesome, but like, there's just so much more going on over at AEW right now.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't care for WWE.
Oh, sorry, bro.
No, it's all good. I'm done.
DJ, again, that moment. I mean, you mentioned it a little bit before, but take me through how you were feeling as it was all going down. Like, you know, Adam Cole comes out and it looks like it's going to be him and Omega, and it's not. He turns, and then Bryan Danielson's, you know, go through it with us as well.
Well, I think these kind of reveals and these kind of like shocking debuts are what people expect when they Like when people think of like, oh, I hope this is a great show, these are the kind of twists and turns that people are actually referring to. WWE always says that they put on great shows, but a great wrestling show is a mixture of great wrestling matches, great promos, and great moments like this. You can't have big, shocking moments like this every single show, or else it wouldn't be special. But they had a good opportunity here, and they took advantage of the fact that they were going to have a lot of eyes on the product, and they knew that they'd have a lot of extra eyes on, so they were like, let's showcase these other talents and these new talents that we're bringing in. And I feel like we need to clarify something, because a lot of AEW diehards have been, thank you for the bits, Fluffy Luke. A lot of AEW diehard fans have been calling AEW the competition for WWE, saying how AEW is going to destroy WWE. WWE doesn't have a chance. This is going to finish WWE off. Only now, after this show, has AEW actually approached the level of kind of being able to compete with WWE. They've now just crossed the line from not even being on WWE's radar, like TNA, to kind of potentially having the opportunity to be legitimate competition to WWE if they don't fuck up everything they've got going now. They haven't been competition for the last 3 years. They kind of have an opportunity to be competition going forward after this show. So everyone's saying that WWE is done and stuff like that. That's just not true. WWE may be about to go through a period of being less popular to the hardcore wrestling fan than AEW. But they're going to continue making money. They're going to continue being ubiquitous with the concept of professional wrestling. They're going to continue...
Sorry.
Ubiquitous.
Yep, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. They're still going to continue being like the household industry. Like when people think of professional wrestling, people are still going to know who Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold and John Cena are, but they're still not going to know who Jungle Boy and Kenny Omega and fucking like the Young Bucks are, mostly in the mainstream. That's not going to change, so I feel like that needs to be put into perspective. But this is the closest AEW has gotten to having a prayer of competing with WWE. Let's see if they can capitalize on this going forward. And that's pretty much the limit of my thoughts on the subject.
Yep, cool. Before we get to our ratings of the show, guys, I just wanted to get to the chat one last time. Instant Classic mentioned a little while ago, would have been cool if he had the final countdown of his theme song. I understand where you're coming from there, bro. But that beginning of the previous Daniel Bryan theme song, it immediately will pop the crowd, whereas some people might not be aware that he used the final countdown on the indies. So you always have to cater to the casuals there when it comes to stuff like that. And the fact that they could license something like that is incredibly important. And I think it's a big problem for WWE for licensing songs that they can't just keep on their, on their books. That's why it's important that Punk can have, cold personality. That's why it's important that, Daniel Bryan can have that song, because immediately people are going to be like, oh, shit. So that's why I think it's important that happened rather than the final countdown, even though I love Europe and I love that song. I'm a Creation says, have to say, not sure if I'll be tuning to WWE much anymore, bro. Join the club. I haven't been watching except for WrestleMania and Royal Rumble for God knows how many years. And I know you guys definitely don't watch Raw and SmackDown anymore. It's Fluffy Luke. Thank you for popping in, bro. Thank you for the bits, as DJ had thanked you before. Imo also says the women over at WWE could not care about anymore, and half the shit that happens that there feels like I've already seen it. They are just spinning their wheels as that's concerned, bro. Hannah says, I have to give this pay-per-view 5 stars. And she says, I think AEW need to bring Wyatt in and then consolidate on the roster they have for a year or two. If they bring anyone else in, that's the last guy, because that was a mistake by WWE to let go of him. So that would be the last guy I would bring in, and then no more. They're already having a hard enough time thinking of shit for a Lance Archer who hasn't been seen except for once in like 6 weeks on TV. They're already having a hard time with a whole heap of talent, keeping them involved in the stories and keeping their story going. People are on and off the show so much right now that it's becoming a bit of a problem. And Imo also says the shit with Bianca and then giving the belt to Charlotte just totally lost me. Totally get where you're coming from, bro. Totally get where you're coming from. But anyway, thank you everyone who's joined us there on the chat. Coming back to you, DJ and Jack. Let's get your rating out of 10. I'm going to go with Jack first. This is a big pay-per-view, huge pay-per-view. We all really loved it. What do you think, bro?
I'm going to go probably 9 and going to go... I'll be generous. I'm going to give it a 9. It topped a great weekend of wrestling, I feel. It just really... It lived up to the hype, I'll say that. Like, all the rumors that were swirling around were exciting, and they all came to fruition. All the matches were at the base, at the foundations, were all pretty solid. Aside from that buy-in match, which it is what it is. Yeah, man, I really think AEW on a different level right now. They've really hit their stride. And at the start of the year, we fucking hated AEW and the stuff they were putting out. But I feel like they've turned that around a complete 180, man. And I'm happy to be all elite.
Excellent, bro. DJ, out of 10.
9. What I'll say is this is the kind of thing that a company needs to make itself look like legitimate competition, like it's a legitimate player in the industry. It's what I've been trying to tell to all these hardcore fans since the federation began. It's not enough to have Jurassic Express on the roster. It's not enough to have Cody in all of your main events, you know, as the face of your company. It's not enough to have the Bucks like as your tag team champions, you know, for fucking 5 years. It's not they're not mainstream names that people know. But now AEW is starting to change that. They're starting to consolidate themselves into a much more viable product and a much more viable alternative to the WWE.
Yeah. And, you know, look, they've been around like what? They're in their 3rd year now, right? So as far as I'm concerned, you know, those first few years, I wasn't interested. No, I wasn't. And even when we watched Revolution, we watched Blood and Guts, we watched Double or Nothing. Everything was so flawed still at that time. In the last, like, honestly, I was brought into watching AEW because of Nick Gage. I'm giving Nick Gage all the credit in the world. That decision was, you know, that's what got me wanting to see what was going to happen. We've reviewed the last 6-7 weeks. We're now reviewing this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view, in my opinion, my rating, 9 out of 10. Would have been a bit less than that, but because of what happened at the end of the show with Bryan Danielson, bumped it right up to a 9. Now, this isn't as good as WrestleMania 17 for me. This isn't as good as ECW One Night Stand, the first one for me. This isn't as good as SummerSlam 2002 for me, but pretty fucking good, man. Like, I haven't walked away from a pay-per-view feeling like this in a long time. I was so excited after the pay-per-view. I had a shower. I was pumped up. I got dressed up all nice for the review. For the first time in a long time, I'm actually excited about wrestling, and I never thought I would feel like that again unless I was watching old fucking footage of ECW, WCW, or WWF. So, guys, hell of a show. Thank you guys for both being on, you know, this review with me, and you know, I've had a lot of fun, and I want to thank the chat, and thank you, Hannah. I do smell nice. I smell incredible right now. Guys, anything else to add before we sail off into the sunset?
Just a fucking great showing from AEW. I mean, I don't know what happened to Tony Khan. I don't know if someone backstage, like one of the old guys, sat him in a fucking room, like it was just a little light, like an interrogation room, and just said, "Listen here, cunt. You're fucking insulting my fucking industry that I busted my fucking ass to make what it is today. You know, if you don't stop fucking making a mockery of my fucking business, I'll make sure your fucking old little fucking pussies will be no more." I don't know if that happened backstage, but it really feels like something has happened that we don't know about, because, man, it's like they can almost do no wrong right now. It's like, aside from the things that we have pointed out and all the things that have been wrong with AEW, in the grand scheme of things and everything they're doing on the bigger picture stuff, it just seems like they're just hitting home run after home run right now. So happy to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely, and it's not like they're perfect right now. There are still things to improve on.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Andrade Park feud. There are things to improve on. Sometimes the Dynamite shows, same. You know, it's sometimes the weekly TV shows aren't gripping me, but sometimes they're killing it. DJ, any other thoughts?
No, not really. I thought this was a good show, and I was glad that it lived up to expectations.
Nice.
Excellent. All right. Well, I guess we're ready to sail off into the sunset. We're gonna rate anyone here tonight, Jack?
Nah, fuck it. We'll give it a rest.
All right.
I'm gonna just.
All right. Well, excellent. Well, everyone out there in the chat, Hannah, I'm a Creation, Instant Classic, It's Fluffy Luke. Everyone that joined us here tonight, we appreciate your time. This was the AEW All Out review here on the WZWA Network on Twitch, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
We'll see you down the road.
How about
Shut up, DJ. Shut up, DJ. Shut up, DJ. Shut up, Jack.
See you down the road.